ranking every Pokemon generation from shortest to longest, Japan Edition. Number 9, Gen 9 at 786 days and counting. Makes sense because we are still in the middle of Gen 9, but as you'll see soon enough, the release window of each generation is going to be much longer than last place. Number 8, Gen 7 at 1092 days. The actual shortest is Gen 7, but because the life cycles of each generation last much longer in Japan than in the rest of the world, the days of difference between each generation going forward won't be as significant as that of the US releases. Number 7, Gen 2 at 1096 days. This was around the time Game Freak really started to make Pokemon into what it is today, and could have been the last generation since its development team would go on to confirm that Gen 2 was designed with a sense of finality if the games didn't succeed in the way that Gen 1 did. Thankfully, the world proved them wrong. Number 6, Gen 8 at 1099 days. The same point remains from the US video, just barely beating Gen 7 by a week is pretty funny. Number 5, Gen 5 at 1120 days. Developed towards the end of the DS's life cycle, this is the point where many fans believe that the golden era of Pokemon ended. Do you guys agree? Let me know what you think in the comments. Number 4, Gen 6 at 1133 days. This was when the rest of the world finally synchronized their Pokétech watches to Japan time, and was the first result of a simultaneous worldwide release. Number 3, Gen 1 at 1363 days. The generation that started it all. It makes sense for the amount of time it took before another generation was ever greenlit. This generation lasted as long as it did because, well, we didn't even think we'd get Pokemon past this generation. Also, given the time that was needed to localize ports of the original games and a completely new game in the style of the successful anime, it makes sense why Gen 1 lasted as long as it did. Number 2, Gen 3 at 1407 days. Funny enough, this is the only generation where the international release lasted longer than in Japan. Number 1, Gen 4 at 1451 days. Were you surprised by any of the generations lasting as long as they did? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.